Yeah, and night 2 is night 2 is the
country's best and worst podcasts. With triple threat.
222. Yes.
Hello. Right, let's see what happens today, children. Cleon's on his 4th coffee.
Oh shit, man! I've had 2 teas.
This is me 4th.
I've had 2 cups of tea and a glass of water.
I was up at 6:30 though.
I woke up at about 6:30, and it was very warm last night. It was very very close.
Very close.
Very close. Yeah, it was very warm last night, and
Low cloud.
I woke up about 6:30, and I was clammy. I didn't like it. It wasn't good at all. And I couldn't really get comfortable and get back to sleep. So I did the whole reach for your phone, and your brain's going, don't pick the phone up. Once you've picked the phone up, that's it.
It's game over.
So I did do a quick doom scroll and then put it down. I was like, no, you can go back to sleep. And I rolled over. I managed to get comfy, and I got another couple of hours. So I got up about 8:30. Yeah, but I literally just started. I came straight in here. And I started getting footage together for the stuff that we've been doing. We visited another couple of places on Thursday just gone, getting content together for the YouTube channel. So I haven't got around to getting it all onto the computer yet. So I thought, all right, I'm up early.
I still owe you about 12 voiceovers at this moment.
Yeah, I'm doing it myself at this point.
No. I will get them complete this afternoon. I will.
I might do just do one of them AI TikTok ones where it's just
because it comes out all
that's weird. So I thought, you know what, I'll go in front room, bang a record on, start transferring all the files over. Now the problem I've got is I bought this laptop a couple of years back now. I would say, do you know what? I can't quite remember when it was. I was using my old laptop. Touching my records, man. I was using my old laptop for my degree, and it got to a point where I was having to buy. I was having to use new software for the degree. What the fuck are you doing?
I'm trying to
put it on top of the record player.
So, ladies and gentlemen, Dave's got a bag of records, and I've just recognised a record just from the top part there from yesterday. So I was just being curious, and now I'm making a right mess. So sorry, Dave.
So yeah, I had to start using new software for the degree, and during one of the modules, I'm using this software on my laptop, and my laptop's just going, no. I'm 10 years old. I don't like this. No. All right. But it got me through the module, and I was like, right, I need to get a new laptop. But where I compromised was hard disk space.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, a lot of stuff's stored in the cloud, and I've got external hard drives and stuff, and I'll compromise on the hard disk space, get better specs, a smaller hard drive, and then, you get the balance with the cache.
Yeah.
So the laptop, a few years now, still going strong, still ace, but the problem is now the hard drive space. So I started copying the files over, and within about 10 minutes, big warning came up and went, yeah, no. You've run out of space, mate. Yeah. So I've spent the morning literally just taking stuff off the hard drive.
You see, I've got a theory about guys like you. I think you like doing things like that.
Well,
because to me, I would just put the laptop in the bin. I would do it for about 2 hours, and then I'd go, listen, life's too short for this stuff, and just go buy a new laptop after I went like that.
Do you know what it is for me is it keeps me busy. That's what I don't. It's monotonous and a bit boring and whatnot, but it keeps me busy. So when I would normally just kind of be sitting and not really knowing what to do with myself, it's like, oh, you know what? I've got loads of files on the hard drive that I need to sort out and put in the right folders and copy over to another hard drive, blah blah blah. And it it just keeps me busy, and I don't mind doing that. And then I can bang a record on or a CD or something while I'm doing it, and like kill two birds, listen to some tunes, copy files across, blah blah blah. But earlier this year, I bought a new hard drive caddy. I had when I had my old desktop PC. So we're talking, oh good God, it's got to be 15, maybe 16 years ago. When I was using the desktop, it was on its last legs. It was like Trigger's broom, my desktop PC. Like, you know what I mean? From when I first built it, because I built it myself, I was dead chuffed with it.
Different head.
Yeah, it's had 14 different heads and 15 different handles. So the insides of it were completely different to when I first built it, and it was starting to struggle. But the last thing I bought for it was a 2 terabyte hard drive. Now, 15, 16 years ago, that's a lot of money. And
now it's about $15.99.
yeah, the only thing I've got left from that computer is the 2 terabyte hard drive, because it's so big. It's just my backup hard drive, and you can put everything on it. So I thought I'll buy a caddy, and I got this cheap caddy for the hard drive. And it really was a cheap caddy as well. And every time you use it, you're like, right, something's going to blow up. Today's the day where something blows up. My laptop, the hard drive, the power in the house, the caddy, something's blowing up at some point today.
Yeah.
Like you switch it on, and it's just like, ooh, oh no, it's not good. So I figured I'd best get a decent one. So I bought a new caddy. I've now got it set up permanently. So the 2 terabyte hard drive is always there.
Yep.
But it's not the fastest, because it's old. It's not the fastest, so it's not ideal for like using permanently. So I switch it on and off, and I just use it for storage. I think that's the boy. I just use it for storage, copying all the files across and whatnot. But it's not ideal for carrying around. So if I do have to take the laptop anywhere, this has to stay here, because it's old and it's heavy, and it's not ideal. And I could just buy something new that's small and light, because it's 2025, and that's what what we're living in. You know, everything's smaller, everything's lighter. But then you've got the pain in the arse of copying everything over from one drive to the other. So what I've done today is I've actually bought a micro SD card, tiny little SD card. I've got an SD card slot in the side of the laptop. I bought a what did I buy? Half a terabyte, 512 gig, just one of them, and that'll do. I can now copy all of the podcast stuff, the music stuff, everything can just go on that SD card. And then if I am out and about and doing something, I've got access to all the files on there. I don't have to keep stuff on so I can back it up on the 2 terabyte, I can put it on the SD card, I can get it off the internal hard drive, keep the computer flowing. The other problem I've got as well is I'm going through all the documents and the music folder. There's no music on my laptop anymore, because
why would you have music on your laptop?
Seriously, who uses MP3s anymore? Nobody,
no
right? I've still got them all on the hard drive, but there's I just copied them all across,
just in case you need a copy of Brothers Beyond.
I copied them all across, like from the old computer. And
I've
they're
got
all
Heather Smallsy's random song on Moving On Up.
They're all just still on there. I've never looked at them, but they're all just still there. Thousands and thousands and thousands of MP3s back from when I had like the whole house networked up to my computer, and I could access, like, I used to use old Xboxes to like access the MP3s.
Then Sonos became a thing.
It's just and then everything was wireless.
Then
and
everything went wireless and streaming, as Sonos
so
didn't have a problem.
There's no music on the computer. There's no films on the computer, because you don't need that anymore. So like they're empty. The downloads folder, there's a bit of stuff in there, but nothing major. And then the documents, I've gone through all that, and I've deleted some stuff and whatnot. And I'm like, what is taking up all this space? Because it's nothing else now. There's no files. What is taking up all the space?
I'm looking at you.
Oh no, this is clean.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. This laptop's clean, and that's the old laptop down there's for that stuff. But I think it's just like plugins and apps and software that I've been using for recording and whatnot, and it's all buried itself somewhere in the hard drive. I don't know where it is, can't find any of it, stuff that I don't use anymore. And I'm like, oh well, looks like I'm just going to be permanently like just deleting stuff just to keep the thing going. And you know what that means, don't you, Cleon? Well, it's time for a new laptop.
I've had a directive from my missus to buy no more tech this year.
Oh,
I know. After the microphones, the lights, the iMacs, mate, I've got every possible accessory you could possibly imagine. I have for that bloody iMac now. There's nothing I don't have that's Apple now.
When you said iMac and it came out plural, iMacs. For a split second, I thought you'd set up an IMAX cinema somewhere. Like how much money have you got?
Yeah, no.
Go on,
you know Star City.
Do you want to watch
me?
Yeah. Do you want to watch Newcastle tonight on the IMAX? Yeah, all right.
I've just had it installed. I've taken over the Festival Park branch over there. Odeon's no more. It's now Bewley. It's now Bewley's Pictures.
Yeah, Bewley's Pictures.
That's as far as I had it. Anyway, what have you done this week, Dave? What have you done this week in the city of Staffordshire, Up the Trent podcast? What have you done?
What have I...
Not what we done. I know what we did Thursday. I was there. Yeah. What have you done this week outside of Thursday?
Outside of Thursday, worked.
That's dead interesting, that is. I'm glad we've got a podcast.
We're done.
Thanks.
That's
Cheers.
it, we're done now. No, this week was relating to work. This week is the most exciting week of the year in our calendar.
What is the most exciting point of the year in your calendar?
It's Record Store Day.
Record Store Day? No way.
Record Store Day. Yeah, that's so we've been this week. We've been building up to Record Store Day.
Yeah.
And it's a weird week because, do you know what? We've actually been, this year, it's not been as rushed because the last couple of years, the stocks landed late and it's like you're on like panic mode. You got to get it all booked into the system. You got to get it all catalogued. Everything's got to be ready to go. And normally it's like 2 days before where you're like, and relax, and then you get the list out to the customers so they know what they're coming to get. And all week you're getting messages going, have you done your list yet? Well, you have you known? You got your list yet? And it's like, there's only so many times you can say, we've told you, we'll put the list up when we've got it.
Yeah.
But this year, everything came really early. So the stock all landed like weeks before. We only had trouble with one delivery, and that was more of an inconvenience than trouble. Yeah. Basically, our Warner's delivery got dropped off at HMV. So the whole Warner's... Now, bear in mind, Warner's and Universal are the big boys. Yeah, so they're the ones that we get an absolute ton of stock from. So loads of stock, right? The delivery driver dumps it all at HMV with their order, doesn't check it, and just walks off. So as the staff are checking it, he's gone. But he's disappeared. He's back in his van. He's buggered off. And the staff are going through it, and they're like, this isn't ours. Now we've got a good relationship with all the record stores.
You've got honest staff in HMV.
Yeah. We've got it. It's happened to me personally as well, where I've ordered a record to the shop, and like a web order, you know what I mean, off a band's personal site, like, and I've ordered it to the shop because I knew nobody would be in the house, so I'll just get it delivered to the shop, and then I've had confirmation of delivery, and I'm like, well, it hasn't been delivered. I'm here. Nobody's coming and delivered. Then I've checked, and I'm just like, that looks like they've got a picture, and like, that looks like HMV's floor. Is that HMV's floor? So I've ran up, and I've gone, guys, I don't suppose. And they've literally just stopped me and gone, is it Dave? I'm like, yes. Yeah, we've got it in the back. We were going to drop you an email. But yeah, the whole Warner's delivery got dropped off at HMV. So the manager has emailed us and said, I'm just letting you know, your Warner's order is at our store if you want to come and get it. So it was my day off, and Liam, who works at the shop, poor Liam, he's walked up to HMV, and he's had to carry boxes of records are heavy,
Yeah,
and he's had to carry like a box at a time from HMV back down to the shop,
Then walk
back
back
up to
up.
HMV, get the next one, walk it back down. So that was the only inconvenience we had, but everything landed early, and we managed to catalogue it all and get it all booked in, and then we did the list, and that all went up like a week before Record Store Day, and it's been a weird week because we've all felt like we're just waiting for the day. You get that feeling where, if you've got an appointment at 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah.
So in the morning you get up, and even though you've got like 5 hours, you just feel like you can't do anything because you've got that appointment, and it just kind of,
Yeah.
you know
I
what I
where you're
mean?
coming from. Yeah.
That's how it's felt all week. It just feels like we can't start anything because Record Store Day's coming up. We've got to get Record Store Day out of the way. So it's been a strange week, but Saturday was Record Store Day.
Well, it was a great day. People queued from far and wide and came from places as far as Canada. I believe yesterday, granted there were students in the UK, but they came from as far as Canada. And your raving reporter, yours truly, was out talking to the people of Stoke-on-Trent to see what the records they've got. And I can tell you right now, Bowie was a massive seller, or Bowie.
Bowie was
Bowie.
Yeah.
Was a massive seller. I had that conversation with quite a few yesterday, and Tay-Tay was high up on the list.
Yeah, the big names this year: Taylor Swift, Post Malone, Charlie XCX.
Yeah.
They were the sought after ones. Surprisingly as well, which isn't normally the case. Status Quo. That was a big
3
seller.
people yesterday coming out of the shop with all Quo albums.
Well, we got cut on the way it works with Record Store Day is you have to like spend X amount with the distributors in a year, and your kind of like allocation for stock depends on your yearly spend, which makes sense. If they've got a shop that's spending $250,000 with them or something, then obviously they're going to get more stock on Record Store Day because they're spending more money throughout the year.
Like that.
So the smaller independents like us, we don't get allocated as much stock as the big boys. So like your Rough Trades, your Banquets, Piccadilly, places like Asai Records and Glasgow, they will get allocated more stock than us. So what basically when you place your orders, it's more like a wish list. So you say, let's say you want 30 Taylor Swift, right? If you're lucky,
You'll get 30.
you might get 30.
But you're more going to get 15.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're probably just going to, you might get halved, you might get less, you might get a bit more. But, you kind of we put in a realistic amount. There'll be shops that go 100, and it's like, you're not gonna get 100. It's not going to happen. That's just silly. So we put in realistic amounts, like what we think we might be able to get, and then we'll put another 5 on. So we did have quite a bit of stock like cut on the deliveries. Status Quo being one of them. It was in high demand. So
Are they all dead now?
No.
Just the one left?
There's 2 original members.
Is that the
left.
blonde and the brown? Is it the same two?
No. So Rick Parfitt died 9 years ago. He's the blonde dude.
Yeah.
That was 9 years ago. And
His son's in a band.
he is, yeah.
I've met his son.
And the original bass player passed away a couple of years ago. But the lineup that they've had, the core lineup that they've had since the mid-'80s, they are still in the band. So Rhino, Andy Bown, Francis Rossi, them 3 are still going.
Who's the one with the brown hair and the ponytail lead
Francis
singer?
Rossi.
Is that him?
Yeah. They've retired. Basically, they've retired this year. They're not like, it's one of them like, I think we're retiring kind of retirements, where they might do something else, but they're probably not going to.
If the money's right.
Yeah, that's what it is. But this album they put out this year is so one of the biggest Quo albums of the 70s was Quo Live. It's one of the albums that really put them on the map in the 70s. It was recorded in Glasgow over, I want to say, 4 nights. And what they did is they picked the the best track from whatever night. So if they've done Junior's Wailing 4 nights, they'll listen to all 4 of them. Which one was the best one? Night 2, bang, that goes on the album. So the album is made up of performances over 4 nights. Now, at some point this year, they're releasing a massive box set with the complete recordings. So all 4 shows, their CD box set. I don't know if they're doing a record. There's probably going to be a remaster of the original album in there. So for Record Store Day, they've put out a complete show. So one of the Glasgow shows, for the first time, on record, complete. And old 70s rockers, Quo fans have all gone, oh, we need this. And yeah, we got loads of phone calls about it. Are you having that in? Are you having it in? It's like we've had to say, yeah, we're getting it in, but the order's been cut. We've got limited numbers, so you need to make sure you're in the queue. And it's sold out. Sold out on the day, so that was a surprising big one. Yeah, you got Sam Fender. That was another big one.
Mimi Dog.
Oasis, the Time Flies box set, that flew out. That we sold out of that within 20 minutes. Gone. Doof. See you later.
Rather poo in my hands and clap.
Kasabian was another one that sold out.
Now they're back together.
What I think with Kasabian, what I think happened with that one is it would have sold out anyway. But the people who came for Oasis, who couldn't get it because it sold out, then went, oh, have you still got Kasabian? Yeah. Oh, I'll have a Kasabian instead then.
Yeah.
That I dealt with that with a lot of customers. But yeah, the big one, if the Taylor Swift's releasing one, that's always going to be the big one for the year. So, they were always guaranteed to sell out. We had 15. Which, on the grand scheme of things, we didn't do too bad for a small independent. The big boys, they would have had 50 plus. I know we're Asai Records up in Scotland. They've still got stock left. They've still got Taylor Swift stock left. You know what I mean? Most places would have just sold out on the day.
That's because you can't get Scotland.
But they've still got. They're open today. They open 11 o'clock today, so they have like a second Record Store Day kind of.
Tyler or Taylor?
Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
I say Tyler all the time.
You struggle with names.
No, I just struggle with her name.
And Keir Starmer.
Oh, don't start on that knob cheese.
So Starner. You always say Starner. You do struggle with names sometimes.
No, it's certain people's names that I don't think are important enough to remember.
Pardon me.
And the problem is with Taylor Swift, right? I've taken the mick out of that woman so much because my daughter's a huge Taylor Swift fan.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've constantly gone, her brother writes the songs. He's a guy called Tyler. And also with Billy, it's a dad called Willie.
Oh, Willie Eilish.
Willie Eilish.
Good old Willie
writes
Eilish.
The songs, yeah. So
used to be in a folk band in the 70s.
Her name's not Billy, her name's Sharon.
Yeah.
Yeah, and things like that, just to wind the kids up. The problem is, because I'm on constant wind-up, and then I have to stick to my life.
And then you start believing it
Then
yourself.
I start believing my own bullshit off the back end, and I'm kind of talking to people going, do you know Willie Eilish writes all, what? No, he doesn't, Cleon, shut up. He's not even a real person, so that's the reason why. In Kia, I did an insult on the podcast, which was around Starmy. Mm-hmm. And that's just kind of stayed with me now. So yeah,
yeah. So yeah, the Taylor Swift one. That I had a girl come into the shop last week, and you could tell she wasn't a Record Store like customer, and she was a little bit like doesn't really know. She's out of her comfort zone. She comes up to the counter and she's like, "Hey, are you doing Record Store Day this week?" I'm like, yeah, we're doing Record Store Day. Saturday, it is like, are you looking for something specific? She goes, yeah, the Taylor Swift 7-inch. I went, yep, you and like the rest of the country are after that one. I said, it's we've only got limited stock. It's high in demand. I'm like, so, you need to be up and make sure you're in the queue. And she's like, right, okay. She goes, what time do you open? I'm like, we open at 8 o'clock. So we open an hour early on Record Store Day. I said, but the queue will start way before then. I'm like, if you really want one, you've got to you've got to get up, you've got to get in that queue. And she's like, right, what time would you recommend like getting in the queue? I said, well, the first person gets there at 2 in the morning. And she just kind of looked at me and I went, yeah, it's ridiculous. I said,
But they're standing on their own till 7.
I said, when I was a customer, I used to get here about 6:30 and there'd be maybe 20 people in front of me.
Yeah.
I said, and I've only come away once, like without something that I wanted. I'm like, so, aim. I reckon if you aim for about 6 o'clock, you might be all right. I said, obviously, I cannot guarantee. I don't know what's going to happen. Now, on the day, I ended up serving her. She came in and I was like, oh, hey, Duck, you all right? She's like, yes, thanks. I went, Taylor Swift? And she's like, yeah. I goes, anything else? She goes, no, just that one. I'm like, sound. And so I said to her, I goes, what time did you get in the queue? She goes, 5 o'clock. And I was like, wow. I said, was there many there at 5? She goes, there was about 15 in front of me. At 5 in the morning, there was about 15 in front of her. I was like, that's mental. But yeah, she was dead happy she got the record, so that's cool. I mean, there's 3 of us in Anley that do it. There's Global Groove, there's us, and there's Rubber Soul Records. Now, I walked past Rubber Soul on the way in, and his queue was pretty big. I then went and checked our queue, and it was bigger. Global's a bit of a weird one because they generally don't open on a Saturday.
Yeah.
So a lot of people kind of don't know whether they're doing Record Store Day or not, or whether they're going to be open, and so it kind of catches people off guard because if you're in the know, you can kind of go up there and probably be front of the queue without intending to be. Yeah. So between the 3 shops, we had customers coming in yesterday who were like, we've just been down to Rubber Soul, but his queue's massive.
Yeah, it was a massive queue he had.
So we've run up here. We've had people coming in going, are you doing Record Store Day? Because we've nailed through the queue. And we're like, yeah, we've just, oh, well, you haven't got a queue. I'm like, yeah, because we've nailed through it. We don't stop. We go as fast as we can. Get them in, get them out. We'll have conversation, we'll have laughs and whatnot, but, we're there to serve the customers.
Yeah, we'll go, thank you. Nice to see you. Goodbye.
These people have been queuing since God knows 1 hour in the morning. They don't want to be in here any longer than they have to be. So get them in, get them out. And I was having to explain to people, you've got to remember that Rob at Rubber Soul, he's a one-man band. He's on his own. And he's got all that queue. He opens till 7 on the day. He does 8 in the morning till 7 in the evening. He got there at 6 in the morning to start setting everything up. He'd be knackered. And I'm trying to say that to people, he's on his own, so you've got to bear with him. That's the thing, he doesn't rush people either. If they want, he lets about 3 people into the shop, does the Record Store Day stuff, and then if they want to browse, he lets them browse, and then when one leaves, he'll let another one in. One leaves, another one in. So he takes his time to get through the queue. Whereas with Global, they don't stay open late. They don't open early. 9 till 2, bang. We're opening 9 till 2. That's it. Yeah. 2 o'clock, we're shutting the doors. If you're still in the queue, tough. We're shutting the doors like that, and then we start again on Monday. Global's a really good one. If you did miss out on something, you generally might be able to get it a couple of days later.
That used to be the record store.
Global Groove's ace, and Peter runs its sound as well. It's a good community. We all do the same thing. People coming in going, oh, have you got the Oasis? Have you got the Taylor Swift? Have you got the Billie Eilish? And it's like, no, I'm really sorry, we've sold out. Try Global, or try Rubber Soul. I'm like, if you try Rubber Soul, you might be stuck in a queue. If you try Global, you've got a better chance probably at Global. We've got a regular customer who's a massive David Bowie fan, and he came in and he had a bag full of Record Store Day stuff. And I looked at him and was like, are you cheating on us? And he just went, mate, he says, I came up and I saw the size of your queue and I was like, I ain't risking it. And he goes, so I ran up to Global, see what their queue was like. He goes, I was basically front of the queue. So I got everything from there. He goes, but they don't do CDs and I want the David Bowie CD. So I've come back down here and got in your queue for the CD.
Is that the guy who came out with the David Bowie CD? It is. And I said, "Oh, what have you got on Record Store Day?" He went, "A David Bowie CD." And he like, "Get out of my interview.
He
Get
had,
out of the interview."
there was a couple of people that only wanted the CD, and yeah, but he had a bag full of records. He bought the record and the CD. He's a huge Bowie fan, sound lad as well. Like, but it was a really really good day. Like, atmosphere was brilliant, and I think we're quite lucky with our clientele as well, because they're all sound and they're all understanding. Like, that first wave of the queue. We got through it within a couple of hours. It was about 10 o'clock once we'd got through it all, and everybody's like nice and understanding. It's like, "Oh, have you got the Oasis box set?" "Oh, I'm really sorry, mate. We sold out within half an hour."
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh, it's a shame. Oh, I tell you what, I'll have the Doves, or I'll have something else like instead." And everybody's pretty cool. But what we find as the day goes on, you then get a wave of people. You get like almost a second queue, but you get like a wave of people who've been in somebody else's queue. So they've come from Strand in Longton, or they've come from Rubber Soul, or they've come from Global, and they're pissed off because they've not been able to get what they want. So now they're trying the other shops.
Yeah.
So they come in and they're not like in a good mood at all.
Double buy then as
So
well.
then when they go, "Hi mate, you got the Oasis box set?" And you're like, "Oh, I'm really sorry, mate, we sold out." "Oh, fucking hell!" And then they storm out.
What I found as well, because I was interviewing people on camera on the way out, there was people that were saying, because I never force anybody into talking to me. I don't know if you noticed yesterday. I said, "Hi, matey, what have you got? Would you like to talk to us?" "No, thank you." "No problem, matey, have a great day." And then call it like that, because you can't really say to someone, "Oi," and start chasing them up the arcade. "Speak to me." Yeah. But what was funny was 3 or 4 of the people, just chasing them around Hanley. "Come here, show me your records." What I found with 3 or 4 people is they said no, but really they meant yes. And then what they did was hang around.
Right.
So there was a young chap, looked a bit elfish. And he basically, I said to him, "Oh, what have you got from Record Store Day? Do you mind talking to me?" And he went, "No, thank you." And he literally ran off down the bottom.
Yeah.
And then as I was standing, we saw him walking across the bottom. And then we saw him walking across again. And then he stood in the bottom of the arcade and took his record out. And like was looking coyly over his shoulder as if go, "Ask me again. Ask me again. Ask me again." Really good. The energy, you could feel the fun.
Yeah.
The fun of crate digging yesterday. I know it sounds a bit cliche, but you could feel the excitement from people who hadn't yet got what they were looking for.
Yeah.
And they just achieved getting what they were looking for. Like them 2 ladies who'd found that Tay-Tay album.
Oh, yeah. See,
That's the most pleased I have ever
Yeah.
seen anybody about anything ever.
And that wasn't even a Record Store Day release. So the Taylor Swift Folklore album, she released like several different variants of it, and they all had weird names. Like, so
Yeah.
we've had one in stock before, and it was like In the Woods Brown or something like that. I don't know, like, and it was worth about 20 quid. So it was second hand, but I say second hand. We have to sell it as second hand because it's coming on a second hand collection.
Yeah.
But it's never been played. You can tell by looking at it.
Yeah.
Somebody's bought it, they've put it on the shelf, and then
Not touched it.
they've not touched it. Like, so we had a big collection of Taylor Swift records in, and some are worth a bit more than others. But as a general rule, they were all around the 30 quid mark. Like, nothing overly expensive. And they flew out. Anyway, this Taylor Swift record came in, and it was a blue one. I can't remember what the what she called it, but it was blue basically, and that's one of the more rarer ones, and they're regularly selling like online for 150 plus. And this one, it was a minter, like it'd never been touched. We had it on for 180 quid. It had been only been in the shop about 3 weeks, and the two girls came in. And they mentioned it, and they saw it above because it was behind the counter, and they saw it on the shelf, and they were talking to Ian about it. And then Ian, because I deal with it, so Ian looked at me and he's like, "What's the what's the deal with that one? And I just said to him, I goes, if you look on the shelf up there, there's a card with all the details on about the record. I'm like, grab that card. You can have a little read of that. And I said, we'll pull the record down for you if you want to look at it. And they didn't hesitate. It was just like, yes, we're having it. 180 quid, bang. And then they were talking to us about Taylor Swift. Do we get any other stuff in? And, have we seen has any other stuff come through the shop? And we're like, just keep your eye open on the website. When it comes in, it all gets listed online. So, you can then come into the shop and have a look and whatnot. But it's just like, it was so nice because you could tell they were proper fans.
They came running out to me.
Yeah.
I didn't go, I went, hi ladies, can I ask you? Let me tell you what I've got. I was like,
do you know what? Really nice girls as well. Like, just dead polite, well-mannered, you know what I mean? Chatty.
From the south.
Just lovely. And we found that with so many people on the day. Like, I'd like to think there's a couple of people where you're selling them the records and you're like, he's putting these on eBay. Like, at least 2 or 3 of these are going on eBay, but the bulk of people are there to buy the records that they want to listen to.
Yeah.
And that's our clientele. The bulk of people, they're not here for a hard time. They're not panicking. They're not going to give you grief if you've sold out to something, and the bulk of them, I don't think, are flipping the records. You can tell the ones. You generally can tell the ones that are. I had a couple of people who were like, oh yeah, can I have this? And then as you're processing them, they'll go, oh, and have you got the Taylor Swift record? It's for me daughter.
You're 12.
And it's like, you're going to put that on eBay, aren't you? That's what's happening there. But you can't refuse the sale. You know what I mean? You've got to sell to them. The first customer I had, so Ian got the first person in the queue, I got the second. He'd managed to serve about 4 people before I finished with this guy's order. He just gave me his list. He goes, here we go. And I looked at his list and went, oh, you're breaking me in easy, aren't you? I was like, Christ on a bike. Took me, I gathered everything up. His bill was about 550 quid. And I'm like, do you need a bag?
We're going to be doing a bunch of editing. I'm on a bunch of editing duty as well, so I'll send you a bunch of that stuff edited over with the volume stocked up as well from those videos I did yesterday.
Did you send me everything, by the way?
I didn't send you everything. Okay. The reason I didn't was because on a Saturday I have football all afternoon. So from record store day, I literally go from record store day yesterday to football for 6 hours. And then once I'd finished football, then I had to do wifey duty.
Yeah.
And then. But today I am doing, are you ready? Nothing.
Nice.
Because all week I have done nothing but a strict fitness regime. Ooh. I've been running 5K every day. And I've been doing sit-ups and everything else. And today, I'll be brutal. I didn't do any running yesterday because I was at football. And I'm not doing anything today. And then tomorrow, I'm going to start doing the weights then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got to incorporate weight into it now and lifting the heavies. And
what are you doing today, Cleon? I'm going to pick everything up off the ground and then I'm going to put them back down.
Yeah, the most boring thing. But I am out and about more in Stoke-on-Trent at the moment.
Sorry, just on the weightlifting thing. I saw a video the other day, and it's this girl, and she's like, "So I finally joined the gym, and I've been putting off joining the gym because like it's a little bit of a scary place, and I kind of feel like I didn't really know what to expect." And she said, "You know what? It's like the nicest place ever." She goes, "I thought I might get like maybe terrorized or something by all the men that are in there, but the men are not interested in me. They're interested in the other men. You know, they all like lift these weights, and then they all go over to the mirror, and they're like, 'Hey, look at my muscles,' and all the men are like, 'Oh my God, your muscles are so big,' and they're like, 'Stop it! Look at my muscles.'" And she just keeps going on about this gym. And she goes, yeah, and, there's this other thing that they do where they'll turn up in baggy clothes so you can't see the muscles because, like, they're not, they're not really at the maximum until they've done a few reps. So once they've done a few reps, they'll then take the tops off and they'll all be like, 'Oh my God, you look so good.' And they're like, 'Oh no, stop it, you look good.'" It's absolutely hilarious. But there's a bodybuilder watching this video and he's pissing himself. And then the video ends and he just looks at the camera and goes, "Yeah, she's right. Anybody that thinks that they're going to go to the gym and get muscles and attract girls, all you're going to do is attract other men in the gym."
Yeah.
Who are going to be fascinated by your muscles.
Yeah. No, that's absolutely right. No, that's 100% true. But anyway, I've been out and about again in Stoke-on-Trent because I've been keeping an eye on the pages, or what the Stoke-on-Trent internet, because the Sentinel's not really a thing anymore, to see what's happening. And I read something last night. Broke my horse.
Oh no.
Broke my horse. It was a visitor attraction that's now charging for a deposit for table reservations and afternoon teas.
Oh, I've seen that.
After being hit by no-shows, Bobby's Ice Cream Parlour on Hume Lane has brought in a £5 per person deposit charge for breakfast and lunch reservations and a £10 per head deposit fee for afternoon teas. So you know what I thought I'd do this morning, Dave?
Go on.
I thought I'd head over to Bobby's Ice Cream Parlour and breakfast store and have a breakfast, because if you noticed on the front, Dave, oh, that looked rather nice.
Yes,
Yeah,
I saw that.
I saw that,
picture,
and
yeah.
I thought Natalie Taylor with a fully loaded breakfast at Bobby's Ice Cream Parlour in Warrington. That looks beautiful. I'm going to go up there and I'm going to give your business some promotion on the Up the Trent Without a Paddle podcast. So I got there, Dave. How many people were in there?
4.
None. There was no one in there. What time was it?
Go on.
9:45.
Right.
Walked through the front doors, went, "Hey, Duck, can I just get a table for 2? She goes, "No, we're not ready yet." She says, "If you want, you can go wait outside or you can wait in your car."
What time do they open?
I don't know. So I went the Orange Tree.
Okay. What? I mean, it could just be. It could just be like they weren't open, maybe.
No, mate, no.
I don't know.
No, I'm sorry. And you can put this on the meme because I'm bloody sick of people moaning and this is Staffordshire and not helping themselves. So anyway, I've got there. So all the ice cream stuff's out. Okay?
Yeah.
I've walked in. All the restaurants out ready to go. Now, if you don't open till 10 o'clock and it's 9:45, okay, what would you say to someone?
Personally, I'd be like, "I'll just take a seat. We don't open for another 15 minutes, but we'll be over to you in a sec."
We don't open for another 15 minutes. Why don't you just go take a seat? Do you want a coffee?
Yeah.
Yeah. What she said was, if you want, you can go back outside and wait in your car. I just went, free advertising in the Sentinel.
Yeah, it is a 10 o'clock opening, I've just checked.
No.
But yeah, if it's 9:45, because I come from that trade.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If somebody wanders in, first of all, if you're not open, why's your door open?
Why is your door
keep
open and
your
all
door
your
shut.
lights on?
But if your door's open, if you've left the door open, somebody comes in, "Excuse me, are you open? Can I get a table for 2? Oh, really sorry, mate. We don't open for another 15 minutes. We're just getting everything together. But just take a seat and we'll be over to you in a sec." Yeah, brilliant, mate. No worries. Coffee machine's just warming up. I'll be over to you in a second.
Yeah, there's 10 minutes wasted.
Yeah. Just sit somewhere else. Just sit over there somewhere, and we'll come to you. You make yourselves comfortable. Don't worry. Like, done.
That's what I thought.
There you go.
But it was
That's
only
what
when
you
she
do.
went, "You can go out and wait in your car if you want."
Go wait in your car.
I was like, wow.
Fuck me, man.
And something else I've noticed on this at Staffordshire, I think they're doing a little bit of lying on there.
Oh, wow. Doesn't surprise me.
And I think they just completely false advertising, because I think that was an advertisement for a business. We're now charging blah, 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 blah. There's something else on there as well. Woman who lost 4 stone by changing one thing feels so much better. I think this is all a lie. This
Okay.
entire article. And I'll tell you why. Jessica Daniels lost almost £60 in 5 months and says she feels better in her clothes since making the change. Are you ready? 42-year-old woman, 5 stone in 5 months, turned to everyday item to help transform her life.
My God, they take the time getting to it, don't
Yeah,
they?
for many of us, adopting a healthy lifestyle, blah, 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 with mobile phones, live things. And then she just goes on to tell you about the simple app that you can download. I was like, that's never happened. That's an advertisement again.
That's
This is
advertising,
Staffordshire.
isn't it? Yeah.
Who is, right, okay, I'll put it out there. If you are Jessica Daniels, that's lost almost £60 and you're from Staffordshire, let us know. Because I think that is completely made up.
I'm going through the article now, and it's like it's not just her. There's then you've got her story, and then you've got the Simple App review. It's now 60% off.
Yeah.
And then it goes down. There's another guy, and then there's somebody else. It looks like one of them. You know when your Facebook gets hacked.
Yeah.
And it's like I lost 17 stone in a week
By eating Subways.
Yes, it's just that's sponsored. That is. This article contains affiliate links. We will receive a commission on any sales we generate from it. It's there.
Yeah.
It's right there. That is horrible.
That's a horrible thing
absolutely
to have in
horrible.
this Staffordshire, isn't it? And this is one of the main reasons why this podcast was born, ladies and gentlemen. Because we're the only honest news representation from Stoke-on-Trent and Staffordshire.
Stoke-on-Trent Live. It's not This Is Staffordshire anymore, is it? Stoke-on-Trent Live is an absolute farce these days. The Sentinel, as it was, is not a local paper anymore. Stoke-on-Trent Live is not a local news site anymore. It's absolutely terrible, and the amount of crap that they put on, especially like the Facebook page. If I have to see one more article about the woman with the tattooed face again, it's the same story over and over again. It's absolutely pointless, and it's like for a newspaper that's meant to be local, like they don't get off on just like ripping the place apart,
spewing nonsense.
Yeah, every other article, Stoke-on-Trent's awful. Oh, Anley's awful. Oh, Longton's awful. It's like it's every other bloody article, like where really they should be doing what we're doing and telling people about the good places, the places you can go. If you go out looking for the shit, you're going to find the shit. There's plenty and plenty of good places.
I had this conversation in the sauna with two students. They weren't students, they ex-medical students who've moved to Stoke-on-Trent. So once they went to Kiel as students, thought, it's cheaper up here than it is in London. And they bought a nice house. So I was talking to them and they were saying, Stoke's a bit of a shithole. And I just went through 10 places. And it was just the top 10 places from things to do in Stoke-on-Trent. I said, have you ever been to any of these places? And you went, no. I was like, so where do you go? Trentham.
Yeah.
Just wander around Trentham consistently every day.
Just like, don't get me wrong. Stoke-on-Trent, it is one of like the poorest cities in the country.
Yeah,
it is. There's no getting away from that. It is, but if you, like I've just said, if all you're doing is looking for the shit, that's all you're going to find.
And it's got some of the biggest knob cheeses in the world all gathered into one place. And these are the same knob cheesies that
Fenton? I'm just joking.
No. Like, why do people have to be dead to have a statue?
Yeah.
That drives me nutty.
You're not down with this Lemmy statue, are you?
Mate, honestly, I can't get it out of my mind. I've been even doing sales comparison and things done for the city. Because if you weren't from Stoke-on-Trent, if you're not from Stoke-on-Trent and you say to someone, where's Robbie Williams from?
Yeah.
You can go Stoke-on-Trent.
Yeah.
If you say to anyone in America, where's Lemmy from?
Yeah, the rainbow. It's like,
no,
yeah. No, I understand.
Do you see where I'm coming from? I've got no memory of Lemmy even talking about Stoke-on-Trent.
I haven't either. But you know what Stokies are like? They cling on to that stuff. It's like
just
Slash.
Robbie Williams haters.
It's like Slash, isn't it? Like Slash is from Stoke.
It's driving me round the bend and Robbie not having a statue.
Phil Wang.
Over 77 million albums sold. I haven't even got into his singles. 77 million.
Do you know the comedian Phil Wang?
No.
Yeah, comedian Phil Wang. Right?
Yes. Yeah.
He's he was born in Stoke-on-Trent. That's as far as it goes. He was born in Stoke-on-Trent, right? And then he moved. But he's like, somebody mentioned him for this 100 Faces of Stoke. So he's not from here. He's not. You might have been born here. He's not from here. You know what I mean? He is not from this city. Slash isn't from this city.
No, you lived here for 2 years.
There's loads of people that are from this city. You know what I mean? That, and Robbie, what does he have to do to get a statue? You know what I mean? He's always talking about Stoke and Vale and
You look
whatnot.
throughout Take That, he was always in a Vale shirt.
It's on the It's Only Us video
From Stoke-on-Trent to Beverly
with
Hills.
the CG Robbie Williams footballer in the Vale strip.
He mentions From Stoke-on-Trent to Beverly Hills.
His football team, LA Vale. You know what I mean? It's just like he's always on about Stoke and where he's from and oatcakes and blah blah blah. Why ain't he got a statue? Put his statue next to fucking John Rudges. Put it there.
No. Go get your Stanley Matthews statue in the middle of Hanley and bunt it over near the Minster in Stoke. Go get Stan and drop kick him near the church in Stoke. Or put him near Stoke City Stadium. Over there. Go, just pick it up and move it. And then I want a big statue, Robbie Williams. I want him one hand in the air, right? And I want him in his Rock DJ pants. With
Just in his Rock
DJ pants. This is the Robbie Williams statue in Stoke-on-Trent. I've already seen it. Do you know in the Come Undone music video,
Yeah.
he's wearing a pair of pants, a pair of socks, and an open shirt,
Yeah.
and he's just got one hand in the air.
Yeah.
Like that.
Like
That's
that.
your Robbie Williams statue, but he's got his Rock DJ pants on.
I would have him in a Vale shirt with his Rock DJ pants on.
Nope.
That's what I'd go for.
No, either open shirt, socks, Rock DJ pants. One hand in the air.
Yeah, I wasn't for this until you mentioned it on the podcast. Well, whether it was last week or the week before, I can't remember. But I've been sitting and thinking about it, and I'm like, yeah, why the fuck haven't we got a Robbie Williams statue? Why haven't we got a Robbie Williams statue?
I am literally digging for a reason for why we haven't got one and what he hasn't done. And like I even thought, I went, well, if Lemmy's, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I just don't see Motorhead.
Yeah.
And they've got this huge following.
Well, they have, yeah. I mean,
There's 22 million albums sold.
it's the aura of Lemmy. It's the Lemmy as God, the ultimate rock and roll star. You know what I mean? Just kept on drinking and smoking till the very end, going out and touring and just playing rock and roll. All about playing live, not necessarily about albums sold.
I've got Motley Crue for
all
that.
about playing. Don't put Lemmy in the same breath as Motley Crue. No, Lemmy's better than Motley Crue. Jesus.
No, I'm just talking for like a rock and roll party and all night long.
Them
every
guys,
day.
like, you could put Motley Crue in a buzz filled with cocaine, like, and they'd just walk out and be like, yeah, that's all gone. Fucking Jesus. But Lemmy, just like
20 minutes later.
just, I mean, if you were to pick somebody, who personifies rock and roll, then most people will go Lemmy. You know what I mean?
I'm going to ask that question because I disagree with you.
Yeah. Well, I think the bulk of people will be like
Do you want
Lemmy.
me to tell you I think the bulk
Go
of
on.
people will say?
Don't just say it. Don't just pull the record out.
No.
Yeah.
The
Ozzy.
Blizzard.
Ozzy. Yeah.
I think he's...
I think. Yeah. That's 100% as well.
I think as far as rock and roll goes, I think before you even get to Lemmy, I think there's 10, 20 people.
No.
Before you
I
even
don't
get
think so.
to Lemmy singing the Ace of Spades in the game song,
I
there's 20 people above him.
I personally don't think so. Looking at it, like, if I was to look at it you've got to think of the casual fan as well. The bulk of the people are casual fans. They're not like hardcore into the music like I am. You know what I mean? But the bulk of people are just casual fans, and they'll only know the Ace of Spades, but they'll know Lemmy, and they'll know Lemmy as God, and they'll know Lemmy, is this guy who wore the cowboy hat and played the big bass, and he had the moustache, and he drank and he smoked, and you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, Ozzy's there as well. You know what I mean? Who is... If you go to somebody and say, I want you to think about rock and roll, I want you to think about rock music, and who do you think of when it's like, who is the guy that personifies rock music and what rock's meant to be? And Ozzy will be on there, Lemmy will be on there, just trying to think, Robert Plant, Led Zepp, quite possibly on there, you know what I mean? It's... maybe like your Deep Purple kind of guys as well. You know, Richie Blackmore maybe, but I think I would be like Ozzy and Lemmy.
Yeah.
That's
For that genre of rock, yeah.
yeah. Well, no, I just mean rock and roll in general.
Yeah,
Like, you
yeah.
know, I mean metal, rock, you know, all that, whatever. You know, there might be a younger audience that goes Dave Grohl. You know what I mean? You know, but it's just it's the way they perceive it.
It's very bubblegum rock.
The thing is, though, like you look at
It's great. I'm not running the
Yeah.
fuse down. It's great and all that, but it's very
you look,
bubblegum.
you look at what's happening now, 2025, and new metal is like cool again. People are like the kids are talking about Limp Bizkit and the Deftones and
There is no
Korn
such band as Limp Bizkit.
and Korn.
Not Limp
and-
Bizkit, sorry, I'm wrong one. Linkin Park.
No, Limp Bizkit. No, I mean, but like it's 2025, and you know, all the kids are like into Linkin Park and Korn and Limp Bizkit and the Deftones and POD and you know the System of a Down. All that era of metal is all of a sudden cool again. Limp Bizkit 15 years ago were a joke. Nobody liked them.
Yeah.
Not one person. Nobody liked them. They were a joke.
I was
And then-
largely due to the hip hop
I've
factors
just-
of things, though.
I've just seen footage from the tour this year at Wembley, and it's going off. Like it's sold out,
Yeah.
and it's amazing. Like, gutted I didn't get a ticket. Like I should have got a ticket. Gutted I didn't bother. It's ace, and everything kind of comes around. So you know, you talk to maybe like a young teenager or something and go like, you know, who personifies like rock and roll for you? Like when you know, who do you think of when you think rock? Somebody might go Fred Durst. You know what I mean? They might, you know, it's all subjective. You know, an older guy might say Lemmy, Ozzy. A young teen might say Dave Grohl. You know,
I think
what
I've got my next question for people.
Ooh, is it going to be a surprise?
No,
Oh,
it's genuinely, who do you think of when you think of Rock God?
yeah.
I go around asking people from Stoke-on-Trent, and when no one gives me the answer which I want them to give, I'm going to go, see, why are we building this bloody statue?
Yeah, it's a good question to ask. Actually, that's quite intriguing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because everyone just assumes it's this.
And you've got to catch them off guard as well. Like if you were to do a survey online, you've got time to think about it. Haven't
Yeah,
you?
yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean,
yeah,
if you
yeah.
catch somebody off guard,
You're getting their answer.
when you think of a rock god, who do you think of?
You're getting their
And they'll
answer.
go, yeah. And I know it's pop music, but I wouldn't argue with somebody if they said Robbie Williams.
No, I wouldn't.
If they, you know,
There's only one guy who I've seen.
you look at how he controls a crowd.
There's only one guy I've seen who controls a crowd, and it's only recently somebody's come and shown me that. And it's Benson Boone.
Okay.
Have you seen him live?
No.
He's the closest thing I've seen to Freddie Mercury.
You know, the whole like rock god thing as well. I think for certain people, it's more about the band as well. Because like Iron Maiden control a crowd.
Yeah.
Is Bruce Dickinson a rock god, or is it the whole band?
I think with Iron
what I mean?
Maiden, I think
Bruce is very good. Though.
now don't get me wrong, Bruce is amazing, but I think with Iron Maiden, the thing that's famous about Iron Maiden is Iron Maiden.
Yeah.
I think Iron Maiden's one of them standalone bands because of how big Eddie became,
Yeah.
if you will, and how big their merchandise became. Similar to Kiss, they are Iron Maiden isn't made up of Bruce Dickinson and them guys the same way as Kiss isn't made up of Gene Simmons and them guys. Kiss is a band and Iron Maiden is a band. The members of said band doesn't matter. And there's not many bands like that, if you will.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any other rock bands outside of Iron Maiden and Kiss that are like that.
I'm bringing it right up to modern day. You could argue
You couldn't do that with Oasis.
it's rock and roll, isn't it?
No, you couldn't put somebody else other than Liam Gallagher.
and Noel, yeah.
Well, yeah, you couldn't put anybody outside of Liam at the front of that band.
Well, look at this year's reunion. Like, you know, nobody cared about who's in the band. Everybody cared about Liam and Noel.
Yeah.
I don't remember one person apart from me asking who do you reckon's going to be in the band.
Is Bonehead in?
Like,
Okay.
you know, it's Oasis at this point is Liam and Noel. Like, there you go, that's Oasis. Like, so, you know, the band has been confirmed. It's that, it's the post 2000s ish lineup. So you've got Andy Bell and Gam back in the band.
There's one of the Beatles' sons in there.
No, he's not playing. Zach Starkey, he played drums for him for a bit, but it's not him. It's Andy Bell, Gam, Bonehead's going to be there as well, and I think it's Liam's touring drummer who's playing drums for them. But like everybody's a bit like,
I've seen
we've got Liam and Noel back together. We don't care about the rest of the band.
Well, we've seen some of the footage coming out of the band's rehearsal.
Liam, that's one. He's one. Somebody says, you know, who do you think of when you think of rock god, rock and roll star, Liam Gallagher?
Yeah.
Somebody will say that.
I agree.
Yeah. Most definitely. And you know what? Bringing it up to like, you know, modern days, I say modern, you know, it's 20-something years old now, but like, you know, bands like fucking Kasabian and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
I think where
Arctic Monkeys.
I think where Kasabian went wrong was when Serge took over.
Well,
you know when Tom was kicked
Meehan.
out of the band for beating his women?
Yeah, he's playing the Mill soon again.
They're back together, Kasabian are now anyway. Yeah, they are. They're back together now. Yeah. I think that's where it went a bit. Well, they were interviewing together the other day,
Do you know,
so
I saw.
I'm assuming they're back together.
I did see some footage of Serge like as the front man of Kasabian, and I'm like, you know what, pretty good that is, quite decent. He's a good musician, he is as well, Serge.
He's a good football player as well.
Speaking of which, football.
Football, speaking of which, it was Nogger yesterday, my old mucker. It was Nogger. It was Nogger yesterday, my old mucker. It was Nogger. As Cleon's buffering right now, if you don't mind. So anyway, sure. We kicked off yesterday with Man City versus Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace took a storming lead, and then Kevin De Bruyne remembered that he was actually Kevin De Bruyne. Man City won 5-2. Goals from Eze and Richards to take the 2-0 lead, and then Kevin De Bruyne, Marmoush, Kovacic, McAtee? Yeah, we'll go there, and O'Reilly. Gunjuan, De Bruyne and Ederson with the assists. We had Brighton versus Leicester, which was more of a surprise result. Brighton 2, Leicester 2. Leicester actually scoring a goal. Well done, Leicester. We also had Nottingham Forest losing to Everton. Thank you very much, Everton, helping Newcastle with our top 4 assault by putting a full stop onto Nottingham Forest. Southampton lost, surprisingly, to Aston Villa 3-0. They're already relegated.
Yeah.
And Arsenal drew to Brentford in the London somewhere derby.
The London somewhere derby.
Don't know if it's the north, south, east, west. Port Vale went storming top of the league.
Yeah.
With, I believe, a 5-0 win.
5-0 win over Bromley.
Bromley and Stoke City kind of all but confirmed their championship status with a 1-0 win yesterday at Cardiff.
Yeah, they needed that. They really needed that.
Gutted.
Yeah, I get it. And there was a bit of drama as well in the match. First half, I don't know if you've seen that.
Yeah. I know it was paused on the 23rd minute.
Yeah, gentleman in the crowd. I think it was a heart attack. So the gentleman in the crowd taken ill, fans flagging over the linesmen, the stewards, trying to get help. Match gets paused. One of the Cardiff players jumps in the crowd to see what's going on, if he can help, and then next thing you know, the teams are like shouting for the medical staff to run over. Match gets paused. Ref sends everybody into the back. Yeah, because I didn't see what had happened. I had the BBC's live updates just ticking over on the screen, and I'm like, it's something like 4:30, and it still says half time, and I'm like, what's going on here? Like, but yeah, Stoke really needed that. Like, it was, a draw would have done them no favours. It's just like they just cancel each other out, like, because they drew with Was it Luton they played in the week?
Yes. Luton scored in the 952nd
Yeah,
minute.
so that was like, well, they've just cancelled each other out there. That has not helped any of them. And yeah, Stoke needed that. And Vale, 5-0 win, go back to the top of the league again. And for the second time, Port Vale are now the only team to beat the other 91 teams in the Football League. It's twice they've done it.
Anyway.
At some point in the last 100 million
50
years,
150 years.
we've beat every team. Yeah, so with that victory yesterday, they've done it again.
Brilliant. Today, we've got Chelsea versus Ipswich at 2, Liverpool versus West Ham at 2, Wolves versus Tottenham at 2, and then at 4:30 we've got the Newcastle United, the Geordie Boys versus Manchester United. Ooh, Eddie Howe's poorly in hospital.
poorly bad.
He was taken in hospital. Eddie, I am on hand to come and help. If you need it, I will come and mop your brow and give you bed baths if required. Jason Tyndall's in the dugout today for Newcastle. We are not sure what will happen, considering his press conference consisted of, let's fucking have it menu. Anything could happen today with Mad Dog being in charge. All I know is the whole of Newcastle can't wait for today's match, just so we can see Mad Dog in charge. It's going to be brilliant. There's going to be some socks on show today.
There's going to be some socks.
Oh, there's going to be some socks on show today. You watch Newcastle today at 4:30, and I bet you any money Tyndall's got his socks about here. He loves pulling his socks all the way up.
I'm going to tell you right now, I won't be doing that because the F1's on, so I'll be watching that instead.
The F1's on?
I'm going to watch cars going around in a circle for an hour and a half. That's me. That's me today.
Philistine.
Yeah, 4 o'clock that starts, the F1.
There you go, you'll get last half hour.
You
You'll get last 45 minutes.
start of the F1 season, man. It's like it's either 4 in the morning or 4 in the evening. Like there's no. I need it to come back to Europe. I need 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock starts so I know where I am with things. It's just strange. It's just very strange. Although I'll probably be watching it on my phone because I'm going to a buffet. Going to a buffet later.
Ooh, what you going?
Mother-in-law's.
Ooh.
Just putting a spread on.
Oh, is she?
Big spread on, yeah. So
What for?
all the family. Her birthday.
Her birthday?
Yeah.
How old mother-in-law?
Don't know. Mid-70s.
Right, now, what I want to play,
don't know at
what
all.
we're going to play and what Dave's going to feed back on a different time, some point this week, is the game that we're going to start talking about now. We're going to play Buffet Bingo. Buffet Bingo. Buffet Bingo. Right, Dave. We've got to find these 5 items, are they on your buffet later on today? So I'll run you down a load of items that could be on the buffet. Mm-hmm. We're going to go cheese and pineapple. That's straight off the top. You know, with the stick in the middle, the cocktail stick in the middle. Cleon's had way too much coffee now. I could do this podcast all day with the cocktail stick through the middle. I'll also accept pickle and pineapple or pickle and cheese. Okay? Egg mayo. Ham and cheese. Cheese and onion. Tuna mayonnaise.
Okay.
These are your extra pointers. Vol-au-vents.
That's not going to happen. I know that's not going to happen.
Pork pies.
Probably not. Probably not.
What type of buffet are we going to? Sadist.
She does a good buffet, but it's always a little bit different than your average buffet.
Random leeks.
Just
Random leeks. You know, your little, they're about that bit. Random spring onions, sorry.
Okay, yeah.
Just a load of random spring onions.
Just over the top of stuff like.
Cucumber and vinegar.
Oh, that's a must.
We don't know why.
It's because it's fucking cucumber and onion in vinegar.
Cucumber and onion in vinegar.
Because it's the tits.
Why?
It's amazing.
Why?
Because it's ace.
Why? Slice corned beef.
Probably not.
Cottage cheese.
I doubt it.
Piccalilli. Branston pickle.
Maybe.
Onions. Pickled onions.
Pickled onions.
Out of the screwy top.
Yeah, pickled onions, red cabbage, beetroot, that kind of stuff.
Red cabbage, beetroot.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the famous crisps
Yeah, there'll be some kind of crisps.
in the middle.
Yeah, the crisps. You know when the packets just get emptied, you don't know what flavour's in there.
Yeah, it's
a
like
gamble.
Wheel of Fortune.
It's a gamble.
Could it be ready salted? Could it be cheese and onion? We don't know.
We just don't know.
We're
But
excited to
we're gonna
find
try.
out.
We're going to try. So I'll feedback. Don't worry. I'll let you know what's going on. I might send you a picture.
Good. Good. I think you should send the listeners a picture. Considering we've had this conversation now,
Yeah. All right.
put this up on a meme, and then I want the picture to follow.
Oh God, big stretch.
Remember, if there's a Volavant, we'll have a, if there's a Volavant,
There's not going to be a Volavant.
I will award someone who retweets anything with a competition winner.
There's no Volavants. Anyway, speaking of which,
Volavants.
yeah. Speaking of which, I'm hungry, so get out.
I'm going to go to the gym now because I've had 4 coffees, and if I don't go to the gym, I'm going to end up winding someone up beyond belief by talking.
And I'm going to go see what I've got in the fridge. So big thank you to everybody that listens week in and week out. You guys are ace. Don't forget, whatever your favourite podcast platform is, give us a like, a follow, a subscribe on whatever, on that. Like, don't forget to follow us on our social media. On Instagram, it's Up the Trent Podcast. On Facebook, YouTube, X, and Blue Sky, it is just Up the Trent. You guys are awesome, and I will see you next time.